Steve Alley here, Off-Road Grind and Bentley Custom Off-Road, and today, maybe for the next week and a half or so, we're going to be working on this 2017 GX, sweet little Lexus, nice color, oh, 460, and this is Mike's. He actually works with a guy named Michael that I did a build for on his LX, and I love the results, so he brought this by, and we're going to be making an insert front bumper with a winch mount in there, so that's going to be pretty cool. So cut things up a bit. It's going to be mainly in this area here, and for the wings we'll put them out here, some tubing, figure out where we want to put that, see how it goes. About to rain. That's that sound. It's been calling for it, and I was just about to work on the front bumper, so let's see what direction this rain is coming from, because if it's coming in my garage I gotta shut things down. Let me think here. If it's not coming in my garage, then I'm good to keep working. Hasn't rained here since July 6th. It's September 12th or something. It's so dry. Anyways, let's flick this around and show you what we're working on. A little loud, I'll try and talk loud enough. Rain direction is good. Got my tarp up so my tools are staying dry. What I want to do here is a bit of an insert bumper. So we're going to take out this lower valance here. There's a couple of parking sensors I'm going to have to relocate. There's some on the outside edges here. I'm going to cut it up here and across and then down, and then stick the winch right in behind this license plate. And I think that's going to look pretty good. And right now we're just about to start taking things apart. So I've got 4 bolts on either side that we need to get rid of to take this bumper out. This is going to get pitched along with this foam, and all this here is going to get cut out. So, but this is attached to this centerpiece here, and the centerpiece is good at holding this upper grill in, so I don't want to mess with this. Let me get these bolts out and see how this starts to come apart. Okay, we need to save the little parking sensor cap brackets or whatever. I'll get those later. Okay, let me look at this for a bit and then see how I'm going to build this bumper. Get the bolt pattern so we can get this back plate on. And all I did is I took this piece of paper here and held it up against the bolts and just rubbed my hand on it nice and strong. I got dirty hands, so it's putting a little bit of a indent on the paper. So now I can just take my punch, center that, and I'm going to over drill these holes anyways, so they don't have to be super exact. And I've got the marks lined up here for the distance. It's 110 millimeters from the single bolt here. and these are 27.5 inches apart from this one over here. We have the back plate in, the holes are all drilled out, so I gotta wiggle that around a little bit and crank it in. However, that's in. We got the the winch plate cut. I might angle it in like this, but I'm not sure. I might just leave it. So next, I'm gonna end for the day, but tomorrow morning we're gonna drill the winch plate. I think this is where I want the winch. If you look in here, it's pretty tight. And actually, this bar, I think it's an AC line, is in the way, and I can't really move that up any higher, and it's kind of limiting how high I can get the winch. I can get it higher if we wanted to relocate the solenoid, but I don't think you need to. I think this is pretty good. It's only going to get it up another, because you can't have this too much higher than the bottom bar here. So I'm thinking, what's that, 2 inches? Relocating that solenoid is a pain in the butt, and it's a lot more wiring. It's so much easier if we just leave it in. So I think we're just going to leave it like that. That's pretty good height. It's tucked back nicely, and I'm liking where this is. I'm going to shoot a picture off to Mike, make sure he likes it. But I think we're good. I'm going to clean up. It's raining again, which is awesome. We so badly need the rain. And then next, once I get the winch plate done, the next thing I want to do after welding some more plates in, like a side plate here and such, there's a bolt hole on either side of the truck frame, and we want to tie into that. So I'm going to weld a plate into the back here, and a little fin, I guess, and we're going to bolt into there, and that creates a lot extra stability for the winch, for the bumper. So I'm going to do that, but I like the way things are coming along, and got to figure out how I want to sort of fill this area in here on each side, and then we're going to have some tubing going down around the corner there. But I like it. Looks good. Done for the day. Let's get the side plates done. So these are going to be the plates that tie into the side, either side of the bumper, and they basically connect the front of the bumper and the winch plate to the back plate, which we have bolted to the truck. So here's the template. You can measure that down. So here's the winch base on the bottom. So if we're looking at it, this could be the left-hand side of the passenger side of the side panel here. So it's going to go like this, and go up against the truck like that, and angle in so we can have a narrower profile on the front. I'll show you what I'm going to do on the sides here. It's going to be kind of cool, I hope. Turns out that way. So if you want the numbers, we got 9.5 inches on the bottom. So that's kind of the flat line near the winch. And so that bottom line there is going to tie into the bottom panel that we'll do later. Across the back, 8.5 inches, because that's the height of this back plate. And then it kind of sneaks up a little bit. It's around some of these little hoses that we've got. 12.25 inches across the top. And that's going to come out to the side here. Keep in mind that the middle of your truck is further out than the side. So it's going to be further out than it needs to be on the sides here, but it's going to come in to be just out in front of it in the middle. And then 8.75 inches down across the front. So I'm going to cut one, because it always seems to change a little bit from cardboard to steel. And I'm probably going to cut this out on the plasma cutter. Once I've got that done, I'm going to obviously fit it on the passenger side, see that it fits, flip it, put it in on the driver's side, and if that looks good, then cut that one out. Sometimes things are a little different from one side to the next, so you want to make sure that you're not cutting two and then realizing one isn't quite fit. I'd rather change that a little bit before I start cutting steel. So if I put this over on the driver's side after I've cut it out here and it doesn't fit, then I'll see, okay, how can I adjust this cardboard template to make it fit better? And then I'll make that adjustment and then put it down on steel and cut that out. So fortunately, I think these are the last couple pieces of 3/16 inch steel that we need to cut, because I'm getting a little low on the sheet. Actually, I want to get some more anyways, because I want to put a top on that little rolly bench in there and some legs. on the corners of it to raise it up, and then have a steel top on it that I can weld on as well. Anyways, let's get the plasma cutter set up, get this cut, and then we can carry on. I think next on the list we got this fairlead plate, so the front plate, and so I've got this little top guy just tacked into place now, and he's just going to cap off the top of the bumper, and I'm not exactly sure what I kind of have ideas, but I'll tie that in later. Let's get this front part figured out. So I got the fairlead plate. It's 27 inches across the bottom. It's 22 inches, 22 and a quarter, I think, from here to here. So I just angled them in a little bit and tilted them. I think that kind of looks cool, although it's going to be kind of hidden. And then, so this fairlead plate, I just got one piece of metal that comes up. I'm going to score it across this line here and then bend it. So we've got that plate right here. And I just grabbed the fairlead from the winch, put it on there. The holes are 10 inches apart, and I just moved it about 2 inches up from the bottom of the plate. And I'm going to cut out this line here to give the rope some space, because I don't want to cut the metal too close to the opening of the fairlead here. So I want to cut that back, and I'll smooth that off as well. Probably do a little circular hole here. So while I'm drilling these holes for the fairlead plate, I'll put some holes here and here in the corners, and then just cut with the cut-off angle grinder into the holes, and that'll give me a nice rounded corner, make it a little easier to smooth them out. So get that done and weld it into place. Noticing this was bulging out a little bit, it was a little too far forward from this top plate, so I just cut that flush. And this is getting on a lot better. It's having a little issue, but I should probably had a little chat or text back and forth there with Mike, and I'm liking this plate idea here for the sides of the bumper. I don't want to just have a flat piece of bumper on there. We've got to tie in some round tubing across the bottom. He wants that protected. So I'm thinking I'll angle it down to the bumper cover there and then spin it around. Put a little gusset in here and then tie the tubing into this side of the panel here. So these angled panels will make the bumper, or at least those wings, a lot stronger, and they'll support that tubing out on the side. So that, I like the sounds of that, so that's good. So I'll put the tubing in first, bend that, and I got some 1.5 inch tubing. You sent me a picture with, I think, 1 inch tubing. I didn't like the look of it, didn't really look good. So for 1/2 inch less clearance, it's gonna look a lot better having a beefier tube in there. And then once that's done, I'll tie all of these panels in, I'll cut those out, and the bumper should be pretty much ready. I'll crank up the bolts, tighten those in on the back there, and then tie in those side pieces that are going to go into the side bumper frame there. And then the bottom panel, just need to have access to the winch holes, and then I think we are good. Pretty close to being done. Let's get working on bending this tubing. So I got my affordable bender. Here's a thing, I don't know if I've talked about this, I'm pretty sure I haven't. I blew out the 8-ton jack that came with this bender. So I went to Harbor Freight, I think it was like 45 bucks or something. I bought the 12-ton jack, it fits in here pretty good. So my recommendation is you do that if you get that bender. It's a lot stronger. I think what I blew it out on was the DOM tubing. I'm trying to bend that, so that's not cool, but works great. Just gotta get the right jack in there. So I got about 137.5 degrees around this corner here. So I'm gonna bend that tubing. As I mentioned, I'm gonna bring it around here. Gonna make it a little longer, then I'll cut it to length right where I want the bend to be. And when I get to here, I'm gonna bend it in a different angle up into this section here. It doesn't need to bend too much. It needs to come up a bit, but I think it would look cool if it was up even just a little bit more and kind of mimicked one of the angles here. And I haven't cut these yet, so I probably will mimic the angle of that tubing with this panel here, and then build it so that I can tie the edge of this panel into the tubing and make that kind of a contact point for the bar. I think with these being angled and connected up here and here, and then at the tubing here, that'll support the tubing nicely and actually strengthen everything up. So that's the plan. So I'm thinking probably right up and around here somewhere. That's where we'll put that. So we got the angle there, so let's get bending on this tubing. Oh, I need to order more Sharpies. I have no idea where my pens are going. Okay, I'm gonna mark that somehow, and then do the other. There we go. So I got the other side almost ready to go, but I wanted to get this side in first so I know how to mimic the angles. Messing around a little bit with the template here. I was just about to cut these inside panels. I got the tubing all welded in, so that's good. However, I wanted to, this was just a sharp edge coming along here, and then there was just another piece of steel edging there. Didn't like that, so I think I'm just gonna put this little facing on here, just tie it down, and then I'm gonna put this on last. So I'm gonna get these back panels in first, and then cover it all up with that. I think I might bring it down a little bit more, I think. Gosh, there's so many things I can do in this little area, but I think this is good. I'll try that. I like how this is looking. A little bit of a kick up here, not much, but a bit. This grill rises a little bit, so I just bent this top plate here, and then that's coming down there. So we've got the angled back plates, they'll get all welded in, and let's do the other side, and then we're pretty much done. Just have those side panels that get bolted into the side of the frame to weld in, and yeah, looking good so far. Got this all done, so just have the bottom plating to do and those side little bolt plates, and I think I will do the bottom plating with this off the truck because it's way easier to do it upside down than with the bumper upside down than the other way around. But I like how these plates all came out. I'll smooth them down, but I'm gonna weld them in a little bit, then take it off the truck, final weld it, get the bottom plates in, and then fit it back on the truck, and then weld those back side plates on, because last time I welded plates on like this, they did move a little bit when I welded everything together, so the holes were a little trickier to get in. They fit, but not as easily as I wanted. So I think I will weld this a little bit with it on, and then pull it off, finish it up, and add the bottom, and then get it back on the truck, and then finish it off today and coat it. Take this bumper off so I can finish welding it. And before I actually, even after I put the bottom plate in, these little blocks here are set up to go right in the alignment holes for the winch, and I can just jack it up with this thing, especially once I get that winch in there. Dude, this bumper is going to be so heavy. That winch is 65 pounds, and I'm guessing the bumper is probably similar. So I can support it with this, and then once I undo these bolts, I'll just roll it right out from the truck. So let me undo those last two bolts and I'll show you. The bolts are undone. This should just drop down. Nice to balance. Alright, and then when I get the winch in there, same deal, just going to drop the winch in, bolt it up from underneath. We can always bolt it up later, but I like to get the bolts at least going first, and then that way I know I don't have to take it out because I've got something messed up. And then we can slide it back in, raise it up, and get those bolts started and dialed in, and we're good. It's so much easier. There's no way to lift that up, especially with a winch in it. So let's get this welded up, and use your welding gloves when you're picking this thing up, because you don't really know which parts are still smoking hot. So. And then this front bumper came out really nicely. Wasn't sure what I was going to do in this section in here beside the winch mount area, but just pulled some angled pieces of steel together, put some plating in behind it to strengthen everything up. Anyways, happy with how that looks and came together. And he'll come pick that up tomorrow, and then I'm heading off to Colorado the next day. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.